All right. So I'm in the middle of, tearing that Polaris apart. And I bought this kind of with the deal. So just want to give an update. Cub Cadet LT46 XT1 Enduro Series. Ooh, fancy LED headlights. I think it's got like 40 something hours on it, he said. But here's the issue. We have it had a harness electrical fire, burnt the wires up. But as I'm looking, a new harness is like $100 and something. But it looks like it was like that fuse didn't fuse, and it just burnt that apart, which up here by the key switch, it got hot there. So I got to figure out, I'm going to look at the wiring harness. Everything else looks good but here and back there, but I'm tearing it apart to make sure it's all good and see where I think there's a mid harness and a regular up. It looks like it got hot there too. But I'm going to tear into this, and I'm going to, instead of buying a $110 harness, if it's just one power wire all through and through, I'm going to try to jump around it and see if I can get this going and see if it's still popping fuses. I'll put an inline fuse or circuit breaker in. This thing's like brand new. I mean, I didn't even check the oil, but he said he bought it. Same good friend of mine cut me a deal. Do I need it? I'll probably use it for a season, maybe sell it. We'll see how it goes, but I couldn't pass up the deal on this one either. So I'll get back with you with what I find. All right, so we put the harness back in after we repaired it, taped it up. I got a temp fuse there. It's holding. Let's see here. It's all temporaried in to see if we can get it to run. And I can get it to crank. So let's throw some starting fluid in it. See what we can get here. We might get lucky. Let's see here. Brake, key. Well, that's really good news. So we know it starts, so I guess I'll just tidy up all the wiring. I'll call it quits for tonight, but tidy up all the wiring. Then I'll get fresh fuel tank back on, get it going, and let's see the hours on this thing. 12.4, 36.3 hours. So don't know if we're fixed 100%, but, and I don't know why it shorted out or overheated or if a wire rubbed somewhere, but I guess only time will tell. But we got a fuse in there, and we'll clean everything up and make it look nice, I guess, and fix the flat tire, and maybe we can get some mowing done in the next week or two, get it all wrapped up. So I'll get back with you as soon as I guess can cut some grass, or at least get the tank going. Might have to clean the carb because that fuel smells rank, but maybe I can put some fresh fuel in it and it'll go, but we'll have to see. So that's happy news, but that's a lot of work getting that harness out of there and back in. I guess it wouldn't be so bad if I had a new one, but I had to repair the harness. And I put a brand new power wire all the way from the battery all the way up to the connector here. I think it might be a good idea. I think I'll unplug it tonight because we don't need some fires while we're sleeping. So, but yeah, I'll get back with you with an update. So sometimes it's just a gift that keeps on giving. So it was running perfectly fine. I backed it out, blew the fuse, right? So about 5 fuses later, when I unplugged the harness to the motor, it quit blowing fuses. So I unplugged the coils, unplugged the ignition coil, and sometimes it'd blow and sometimes it wouldn't. And I just, moving stuff around. Finally, I unplugged the relay and I went to plug it back in and the red arced. And I'm like, huh. So I follow the red and it goes down to the fuel cutoff. It was pinched between the plastic and the muffler, causing a straight short to ground, but intermittent. So I taped it up, and it had to have been from assembly, because I don't think this ever been apart with this many hours, and finally took that amount of time to rub through. But now it goes. It runs great. So I'll put it back together and see. I still need to get a belt for it, but yeah, that's all it was. That's what burnt the whole harness to the ground. Because every time you turn the key on, I don't even think the key had to be on. I'll have to look at the harness, but it was directly, through that relay pin to ground. So every time you turn the key, pop the fuse. So it took 5 fuses, but I didn't have a circuit breaker to put in, but I was unplugging everything just to try to diagnose. But, came down to finding the problem, and hopefully it's good. So I'm going to drive her around, see what happens.